Rest from your ordinary work. Do something that will recharge you individually or with your family. Figure out what that looks like to be beside a quiet water where you can drink and be refreshed. You practice the Sabbath and you will be refreshed. Work this thing out practically. So if you think about some of the benefits here, rest is the first one I'm going to talk about. Look at just these two phrases. He makes me lie down in green pastures. I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Think about, if you know that for all of eternity, you will be in the New Jerusalem with Jesus, no darkness, no shadow, there will be no tiredness, no stress, no depression, no issues with mental health, no disease, no dying, no sadness, no fear. Like that is our forever. And yet Jesus put his Spirit in us now to begin to experience those realities. I highly doubt it was God's will for you to live stressed, afraid, depressed, and burned out now just to get your reward later. I don't think that's what Jesus' abundant life talks about. I honestly think he's wired us to be able to process stress, process fear by getting close to the shepherd, by spending time with him daily, but by practicing a weekly Sabbath. So there's this rest that I want you to learn to practice. So if you look at this, he makes me lie down in green pastures. I want you to think about what it would actually feel like to go on the top of a hill with a beautiful view. Maybe that would be a lake for you, maybe the city, maybe a mountain, whatever it is. If Jesus led you up to the top of a hill and made you sit there without your phone for 30 minutes, not allowed to do anything. You just had to sit there. And within 15 seconds, what would 95% of us start thinking? What do I have to do next? Right? What do I have to do when I stand up? I'm being lazy. I'm wasting time. I should be getting something else accomplished. By whose standards? Tell me that. Whose race are we running? I could sit here for 3 minutes and you guys would probably get bored out of your mind, get restless, right? I was reminded when I was preaching first service, when Sharice and I, we went away for our 10th year anniversary. And we were sitting on the beach for, I don't know, maybe a half hour or so. And we both looked at each other and we're like, we feel like something's wrong. Like, do you think something's wrong at home with the kids? Do you think we da-da-da-da? And what we came to realize is this: our souls were restless. We had 4 young kids that time again. We've loved raising our children. This is a lot. You know, it's busy. And life was busy. Ministry was busy. And so when you actually come to a place of rest, it will be uncomfortable. If you left your phone behind and you went and sat on a hillside somewhere for 30 minutes, the first couple times you did that, it would be very uncomfortable. You would realize how much unrest was in your soul. Until you taught yourself, I'm not going to think what I'm going to do next. The Lord actually designed me to appreciate him in the present. Can you imagine that? Just sitting there and saying, I'm doing this for no reason but to rest? Doesn't that feel so good? Like some of you are like, yeah, that's going to happen at midnight when my kids go to bed. All right. Find a hill where you're not going to get arrested for sitting on it at midnight. Like, seriously, I'm saying at any age, right? High school, college, into retirement, maybe caring for kids or an adult. After you put that into a routine within a Sabbath of finding rest, even if it was just a half hour within your day. Parents, if your kids are at soccer practice or a dance recital, go in your car and take a nap. That might be the time where you can breathe deep. The Lord has designed us for rest. And I think that we have to be able to give ourselves permission to. If God's given you permission to do this, why don't we give ourselves permission? I don't have all the answers to this. We have to figure out, what does it look like for my shepherd to make me lie down in a green pasture, knowing that I will dwell in peace and rest for all of eternity? That is my forever. How do I do that during my Sabbath? Let's talk about recharging for a moment. There's the phrase, he leads me beside quiet waters. He guides me into the right paths for his name's sake. You anoint my head with oil and my cup overflows. So at the beginning of my message, I asked you guys to write down some things that would recharge you, some things that you would really enjoy. Like, I really felt like I got away from it all. I'm asking you to give yourself permission to do that also. And again, some of you might be like, I have no clue how this would work out. It actually takes work to take a Sabbath. It takes pre-planning to say, just as much as I would be at one of my children's activities or to be at an important meeting at my work, I am going to make an appointment to do something that will recharge me. If your life wouldn't allow it to go by yourself or with your spouse or with a friend, then take your children with you. We went on countless walks in the woods where I enjoyed being, and we would go and just have fun. Now, your body might be tired after something like that, but you're not doing your ordinary work. Are you guys with me? So you're resting from your ordinary work. You're participating in something that recharges your soul, your mind, the attitude that you have toward life. Our life is not our own. It's been bought with a price, the blood of Jesus. But I mean, no, God still wants us to enjoy him in our life. So we have to find activities in the rhythm of our week, and I believe that would happen on a Sabbath. Remember, nobody worked. They were all in their house. They were enjoying each other's time. Now, parents, I would not encourage you to say, listen, Sunday's our Sabbath, no TV, no activities, you're canceling your soccer games, you're sitting on that couch and we're resting. Pastor Kurt said so. Like, that'll be miserable. That's torture. That's not what God's talking about. Rest from your ordinary work. Do something that will recharge you individually or with your family. Figure out what that looks like to be beside a quiet water where you can drink and be refreshed. What would it take to refresh you in life? What would it feel like for you to give God time to go onto these, be guided into these right paths, to have your head anointed with oil? Right? Some of us feel like our cup is like dry. There's nothing even in it. Listen, at the end of a 6-day work week back then, how many of you know their cup was empty? They've worked really hard. And yet that Sabbath refreshed them and recharged them enough where I believe they could say, my cup overfloweth, says the King James Version. Overflow. Not just a little bit, not halfway, not to the brim, but overflowing. I actually believe if you do fun activities or activities that will recharge you, you could find God in every single one of those. On the golf course, you can. It's not, well, why are you leaving again to do this? No, be a good husband or a good wife when you're there. Work really hard, be productive, but then take time to relax. So if it's on a walk, if it's on the golf course, ladies, I believe you could find God at a home store, right? Go ahead. Go to Target and find God in whatever aisle you want to. Do something that's going to recharge you. Please don't spend all your husband's money doing that. Like, this is a Sabbath, 24 hours. 24 hours, I got this. I believe that you can find God and enjoy him as he is bringing rest to your body and your mind, and he's restoring your soul.